Hello, Munchkins. Welcome to our very first podcast episode that we are recording from Bhavya's bed, which is gonna be the prime location for all our podcasts. So, we got together to basically discuss matters that really bother us in this time and age. And
Yes,
we were just done keeping it inside us, and we thought that it's time that we put it out there for everybody to know what we think about it. And of course, you all also think about it. So, please get back to us and write to us, and we must incorporate everything into the podcast.
I am
So,
Song.
and I am Burke. Thank you for bringing that
So,
up.
because we are talking so much right now, I feel like sometimes I'm not able to write songs, whatever I want to talk about. So, I'm like, let's talk about it and make a podcast about and related to songs. And
Hmm.
she is a bookworm, this friend of mine.
Certified. I have a degree.
Yes, now we are gonna talk about anything and related with songs and books.
Basically, that's just our raw personalities on display.
Yes,
And we thought, what better way than to do it with each other because we already finish each other's sentences and we already read each other's minds. So, why not do something like this?
definitely. And we are free.
And we are so free.
Making the best use of our free will.
We can be brand ambassadors for Stay Free right now, but for different reasons altogether.
Definitely. True.
All right. So, coming to the reason of the very first podcast. So, we chose 14th Feb as our date because stereotypically, what do we celebrate?
Valentine's Day.
So, tell me, what is your take on the entire thing?
I have no clue because I don't fall in love easily.
Fair.
Tell me about the history of why Valentine's Day started because I have no clue about it. And she has been eating my head about making me understand how it started. So let's hear the
I
story
have
from this
notes.
person.
I have notes on this, by the way.
Mhm.
So, the history of Valentine's Day is actually very macabre, like the history of most of the festivals that we celebrate in passing ajkal nowadays. So, it started out in ancient Rome, which is
Mhm.
basically the mother of almost every Western culture that we study about.
Mhm.
And they had a festival called Lupercalia,
Okay.
and they celebrated this festival somewhere between like Feb March, usually between Feb 13 to Feb 15th, as per one of the sources I looked up. And this was a festival of fertility. This festival was basically dedicated to Faunus, which was basically their Greek god of agriculture. So we are basically talking about fertility in terms of land
Oh.
and also in terms of people, because they also reached out to gods called Remus and Romulus, just who were two brothers who had a fight. One of them died, and after them, they ended up naming Rome. What really happened in this festival, and the reason why I'm calling it macabre, is because they used to sacrifice sheeps, and then men were smeared with the sheep's blood. Like, it had proper animal sacrifice. Sheep and dogs were sacrificed in this festival, and then men of suitable courtship age were then smeared with the blood of this sheep, and then they would just walk around flogging women with a whip that
Oh my
was
god.
smeared with this sheep's blood.
Oh my god.
And then women's names were put into like a lottery urn, and then men used to pick out this chit, and then whoever's name came out on that list, the men dated those women. And that is how it became something about love. And then the Valentine's name basically came about because in the 15th century, three people by the name of Valentine's died, and then Geoffrey Chaucer actually wrote a book about it, and not about the three men dying, but Geoffrey Chaucer got Valentine's into the picture by writing about it in
A
his
twist.
poem called Parliament of Fowls.
Oh my god.
And then after that, right now, as we are seeing, Valentine's Day in the 19th and the 20th century and the 21st century subsequently has basically become a festival where we just celebrate capitalism in the name of love.
Definitely.
by buying chocolates, teddy bears, uh, and a lot of cards and all these other paraphernalias that we can basically do without. Like, I
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid, we used to have this very popular brand which was popularized through this movie. I'll name the movie, you all will know what I'm talking about. Dil To Pagal Hai.
Yes.
Okay. Getting something from that brand was considered ultimate love. Like,
Mm,
if your boyfriend got you like a farman, what do you call a farman in English? Like, it was like yeah, the
the
scroll thingy.
yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
you get like a scroll, by the way, which wasn't even customized, it was some
And
random shit written on that through a computer. It was printed, stitched, and if you get that, that was like the ultimate love. Uh, and I'm like, okay, क्या करूँ मैं इसका? What will I do with it?
that's weird. When you're talking about topic how Valentine's Day was not even a woman's choice.
Yeah,
Love
basically.
was not women's choice, and we already see whenever we see any stories or whenever we see any movies or
Hmm.
series that are based in the Regency era, we actually kind of see it that love was something that only fortunate people could get. It
Hmm.
was not everyone was allowed to love, not
Hmm.
everyone got love, they were just married off, and women's whole task was just about giving birth to babies.
I
That's
know,
so
yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
And that's why we question love. This generation questions love,
Gen Zs are basically questioning everything, and I'm
as
in
we
for
should.
it. I
Yeah.
mean, because all these institutions have been in place for years on end, and we've all just silently followed them. And now Gen Zs are like, why should I get married? Why should I become a baby producing machine?
I
Why
know, right?
can't I hold a career and a job and a family unit together?
And why? What if I don't want to? You know,
Yeah, what if I don't
that's
want to?
definitely a choice. We are
Yeah.
not living in a generation where we are questioned about our choices. So
I mean, I also
progress.
believe that we are in a very privileged position to say that
Exactly.
as urban Savarna women recording this podcast, we do come
Exactly.
from a very privileged place and from a background where our choices are actually our choices, and a lot of our female counterparts cannot really say that.
Yeah.
But then, keeping that in mind, I would say that we still are progressing, even though the progress is slow. There
Yeah.
is still some progress,
Hope.
and there's hope,
There's
of
hope.
course.
There's hope.
There is hope for the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we're talking about love and everything,
Mhm.
so now if you have to give your pyar ka farman, your scroll of love
Okay.
ka opposite,
Huh.
which is called an anti-referral for love, how would you describe yourself as the least dateable character out there?
You can actually be weirded out with some of the things I'm going to say, but I like to tell people that I'm a witch, like quite literally. And
The witch
when
they did not kill.
yeah, because so Stevie Nicks is my goddess. I love her, and she has been a free spirit in her songs, in her whole discography. She has been the person I've looked up to when it comes to a free spirit and how to live as a woman. If you guys do not know, Silver Springs 1997 Warner Bros. Performance, you should go and watch
Mhm.
and just see the way she is looking into Lindsay Buckingham's eyes while performing this song and haunting her. And I'm like, bro, I forget love. I want to haunt people. And that's how I want my personality to be. So it's like, yes, I'm a witch. Fact about being a witch is you can just be your own persona, be weird, do your thing. And even if people find you weird, they won't question you because they feel
I mean,
scared
you
if you
claim the title, so why will they
yeah,
question
and
you?
they get scared. So let's not.
So basically, you want to be weird and scary,
Yeah,
and you
bro.
want to be a person in your own right and not be questioned for that.
Definitely.
And that's your anti referral.
Yeah.
My god, the dating standards are so low that even being yourself becomes your anti referral.
But I'm haunting people.
As you should, honestly, game.
Am I right? So even if the standards are low, I'm like, I'm not going from a bad date without haunting that person.
So
So
I
I'll make
just
sure of it.
just for a friend, when you say haunting,
Yeah, yeah.
what do you mean?
Take their hair strand, them for the tooth, things like that.
How do you ask a grown man for their teeth?
Just give them a blank stare and be like, how would you feel if I asked you for your tooth? I'm serious. He'll be like,
Bye,
what?
Didi.
I'm like, I want your tooth. Then be like, my anti-referral. As so, what about you?
um, okay,
This
so
came out.
my anti-referral with dating would be that I end up becoming both the man and the woman in the relationship, and that messes up the entire balance because I expect things like a woman, but then I also act like the man.
Mm,
And when I say this, I basically mean the feminine and the masculine energy. I'm not
right.
talking in terms of the gender spectrum. So when I exude both energies, the person on the other side just gets confused and they're like, what should I be here? Because I am so hyper independent that it's very difficult for me to let anybody inside. And
Definitely.
and a romantic relationship is definitely more intimate compared to a friendship. So
And
when
I
this
think
hmm,
hyperdependency is a trauma response, as they say. I am a hyper independent person too. So yeah.
yeah, so that makes dating difficult. And right now, like if I end up becoming the man in the relationship and then I don't get the kind of response, like because the person is confused, of course they're confused, then
Mm.
I become a male chauvinist pig, and then I treat them like trash. Like when I say I'm busy, I would be like 6 to 18 months busy,
Mm.
not 5 hours busy. And
I like it.
and then see, after 18 months when they pick up, and then this person also for some reason pines for 18 months, and the duck is wrong with you.
Yeah.
And uske baad I don't really know what the definition of a good person is. So
Yeah.
that becomes difficult, and that is my anti-referral, that I don't really understand you as a person for a very long time, and that basically you string along with me for no reason.
Makes sense. This is kind of a deep introspection into what we are like in relationships.
Sadly.
That's
And
sad.
also luckily, because I honestly feel that being alone is the best thing that has happened to people. Like being comfortable with your own
Right,
loneliness.
right. Yeah.
Because there is a male loneliness epidemic
Epidemic
across
going
the
on.
world.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about women being lonely. Even when we are 40, 50, we are still highly achieving human beings.
We
Yeah.
women used to be alone back in the days when their whole personalities was just tied to their male counterpart. As I'm currently rewatching Queen Charlotte, so I just take the idea from there that everything, a woman's personality, their status in the society, that was just tied to their male counterparts, and when they died or by any chance they were ill and their will was not made,
Mm.
they just used to be nothing for the society. And because of learning that, women today, and I think thanks to our millennials and how the society has changed and the mindset has changed, pop culture has emerged, that the mindset has gone from considering being alone as something that's good for you rather than being tied to a man or
Hmm.
just being sad about it.
True. I mean, sadness is actually a very deep emotion. We don't
Yeah,
give it the credit that it deserves, but a lot of women, they suffer from arthritis, they suffer from bone diseases like osteoporosis, if I'm not
yeah,
wrong. And that is also linked to a prolonged and suppressed emotional state.
definitely, yeah,
You were in that kind of an emotional state for so long that your body was like, please get out of it, otherwise this is how I will react.
definitely.
And this is actually researched. Gabor Mate, he wrote a book, When the Body Says No. Read it.
It brings me to the question that how is love
Hmm.
different for men and women in the literature?
Hmm.
Because I've read so many books. I like reading
Hmm.
female literature. talk, like we always talk about men written by women,
Hmm.
but the society does think very differently from what books have taught us. So where is this contrast coming from?
The contrast, I would say that books are private and cinema is public.
Mm-hmm.
Like books are something that it can't be like 50 people are reading the same book together.
Right.
So your reactions are your own and they're internal.
Mm.
Whereas cinema is a public experience.
Right.
So
Yeah.
books easily cater to the female gaze and cinema caters to the male gaze. And books are written keeping emotionality in the center because words are nothing if you don't add sentiments to them, if
Right.
you don't add meaning to them that lasts and stays with you,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense.
And books are more nuanced. Like you're writing 500 pages of something. I mean, that's okay. You're writing 100 to 150 pages of something to more than that. And a movie is basically love condensed as a bunch of punchlines in 2 hours.
Makes
Over
sense.
there, you are not selling the man to be a stable partner, you are selling the man to be a superhero that people can relate with and they can come to the cinema hall and continue watching your movie so that it becomes a box office hit.
Hmm.
You are not making a man who is palatable.
Makes
You are making a man who can bring in the numbers. And I feel that is where books are different from movies.
Yeah.
And men written by women is not, sadly, the kind of genre that does well on the big screen, but it does pick up on OTT a lot
Yeah.
because on OTT you choose what content to watch.
Right.
But when it comes to your movie, you pay, you go, and then you watch.
It is completely changing from
Hmm.
the typical ways, and that's why we are seeing a lot of movements and a lot of
Hmm.
awareness as well. But still, the mass remains attracted to that big screen, the big cinema, and whatever it has
Hmm.
to show. And I also feel like the adaptations from books that are feminist literature, or
Hmm.
they also turn that into a very consumeristic
Hmm.
point of view on the screen. So the
Yeah.
essence of it gets lost.
True. I mean, come on, if you are making a book into a movie, I would definitely not go and watch it. But if you're converting a book into a series, I
Yeah,
would still like to see.
definitely. I agree.
Because a series can have more data.
Right.
It can
It can do some
have,
justice.
yeah, it can have all the smaller movements that actually stick with you.
Right.
It could be something as simple as she was leaving the room and this one was polite enough to not follow behind
Right.
and giving her emotional space. It
Right.
could be something as simple and nuanced as that, which stands out for you as a reader but did not find space in the movie, because why waste seconds over something as tiny as this,
Makes
which half the
sense.
people might not understand,
Definitely.
but the author spent 2 or 3 pages writing.
That's very true.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I believe differentiates movies from books, and how men are portrayed in movies. Men are portrayed in movies to be likable, to be people you can become.
Right.
Because you are now selling a commercialized product of masculinity. And you'll have to show somewhere a man who is somewhat molded into the mainstream masculinity but has those subversive masculinities in him as well,
Definitely.
you know, that was not the entire package but parts of it basically, so that it is still something that can make a box office hit, but then it can also make people think.
Exactly. I love all the Zoya Akhtar movies
Ah,
just for that.
same. Bro, Sunny, I was married to Sunny in my head for so long.
Sunny was
दिल
the
धड़कने दो.
Dil Dhadakne Do part.
आपको किसने बोला इसको परमिशन देने के लिए? वही तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. That line and I was like, that's it.
Sunny
That's it.
was Ranveer Singh, no?
No, it
Was
was
Farhan
Farhan
Akhtar.
Akhtar.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And also Farhan Akhtar just fits the role so well. Like
Yeah,
he's like perfect for it. I
definitely.
can't imagine anybody else playing that role. And also Shah Rukh Khan as Jahangir in Love You Zindagi, that
Hmm.
Dear Zindagi. That.
Amazing, amazing the role that he has played
Hmm.
and the conversation. So that movie was extremely unconventional at the
Hmm.
time it was released.
2016. Yeah.
Exactly, and it made us realize that mental health and therapy is something for everyone. It's
Hmm.
not just for someone who's mad. That was the narrative going on
हाँ, that's
for
what she
so
said
many
ना, मैं
years.
पागल नहीं हूँ ऐसा she
uh,
I think she shouts in the movie बीच में
yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm not mad, I just need help.
yeah, and
Yeah.
किसका दिमाग नहीं खराब है इस दुनिया में.
Yeah, I feel like people who are somewhat like, going through something, they do build art.
Yeah, definitely,
So I think that is a important process to go through, but then you also need resources to go through it.
definitely.
Because poetically we say that highs and lows, they come and go, and you have to
You
build your
know,
resources and also
Javed
go through
Akhtar,
it.
Javed Akhtar has said this in one of his shairis, in one of his interviews as well, and he's focused on the point that anyone who is making art in any form has
Hmm.
some kind of कीड़ा. कोई तो कीड़ा है जो उन्हें परेशान कर रहा है. Basically, something is there that is keeping that person bothered, which is channelizing into art as a creative form.
Hmm.
That's so beautiful when it is said and when it's written in those perfect words. It's just mesmerizing. Yeah.
So now coming over to the next part. So I have a question for you.
Hmm.
How, in your opinion, has the idea of love changed over time?
So, because I am song, I'll talk about it musically. And we were just discussing about it as well, that music music came from a place where there was a lot of instruments and physicalities available, and people used to channelize whatever is going on in their mind into a paper and humming it along with whatever felt right. So when I practice music, I always understand chords, and they have a certain feeling to it. So the feelings of a song when music started,
Mm-hmm.
they were very pure.
Mm-hmm.
Go to any 50s and 40s movie, listen to a song, or go to any 50s and 40s band when they used to make music, and that used to be very beautiful, very nuanced. The lyrics made sense, the combination of instruments that were going around in the background made sense. And what happened when that reached like 1990s and 1990s and 2000s is pop music, instead of rock or instead of just being instrumental, the industry started being run by a few people, and those few people also saw their profit in some things.
Like,
All these music labels started portraying women as something because they were sponsored by
uh,
some brands, they were
oh,
sponsored
even
by.
songs are sponsored.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, damn.
that's how they
Okay.
make money sometimes.
Uh,
So brands sponsor them, or the person's personality. When an artist becomes a famous, their persona becomes famous, they have to
mm,
maintain that persona, and that
mm,
persona is basically um, allowing you to dream to be like this person, the whole aspiration that I want to become like that person. So when I say I see Stevie Nicks as an aspiration, I am talking about someone who came in the 70s and 80s, right? And and it is told to be the 70s 80s has been told to be the freest era of music, where
yeah.
people were expressing themselves. There were a lot of political nuances also that were related to music, which we won't talk about, of course.
Later.
But yeah,
Mm,
so political controversies related to music, related
mm.
to the bands and everything, and dheere dheere, slowly it became commercialized in such a manner that music just became something that can be used to make money. It
Hmm.
was not just about the tours, it was about digital sales, then it became about the album copies that were selling. It was always about the album copies, but the billboard
Yeah.
commercializing, digitalization,
Yeah.
and the availability and accessibility to music being increased, it also gave rise to, it gave rise and power to people who wanted to show music not as an art but as something that has to be consumed. That's
Yeah.
the difference. That's the difference. That's why
Uh,
we see pop culture 2000s era people badly prioritized or being skinny, because
hmm.
all the 2000 music videos were
Apple
like
orange
that.
jeans.
Yeah, so the curve, and even Mean Girls for that matter.
That movie, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. The obsession with being skinny, or obsession with red hair, or obsession with anything for that matter, regarding your
Basically,
looks and how do
childlike
you want to
feminine
look.
characteristics were being portrayed as the ultimate beingness of females.
Yeah, and
So that was.
that's so messed up. Like,
Hmm.
that's really messed up. And that's how it got messed up also. Even in hip hop, it all started from thing they want to use just to release the beat culture,
Yeah.
the graffiti, the skateboarding, the dancing. All of that style is very raw, very beautiful at its core. But
Hmm.
again, the commercialization kind of messed with how people
Yeah.
perceive it, made it.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the rawness and what it stood for is kind of gone now.
Hmm.
So, but still, I mean, it's art, and there are a lot of artists who do make art for art. So there is still some hope, and because from the 2020s, I would say, we have seen a huge rise in people who are participating artists and people who are participating in political conversations. We do see some hope because our generation and women in music are rising again, because past 10 years the new Grammys to the new artist of the year is going to females.
Oh, is that like a
Yes,
statistic?
yes, that
Oh,
is
damn.
real. So I think last year it was Shabby, this year Olivia Dean got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think it's easy to fall in love.
Wow. Fall in love.
It's not. My take on how love has changed over time and with music.
There's just so much late stage capitalism. It's just screaming late stage capitalism, and that's sad how everything eventually just becomes about money and it's not about the authenticity of why you started it.
Definitely.
And I did not know that. I mean, it makes sense because I've seen people in music videos drink from a particular brand of orange juice or something. And for me, I was, yeah, in passing, they're doing that, but it's actually a brand deal.
So basically, it's about even brands. Some brands stand for the culture, right?
Yeah.
So
Like, they're like those
brands become
shoes.
a part of it, whether it's shoes, whether
Yeah.
it's drinks and alcohol, or
Skateboards
yeah,
also.
exactly.
Cycles, those BMX cycles. Yeah.
Exactly. You'll never see Drake wearing
Barbie
an
shoes.
opposite brand, you know. You know
True.
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So it is that way. Why do you think brand always take on big celebrities, these music artists or actors to be their brand ambassadors? Because they have that influence.
Mm, true that. I never seen it from this perspective, so it's actually very fascinating for me.
Now, my question to you will be: how does social context shape who you get to love, or
Mm.
who gets to love?
Love has always been both emotional and political. It cannot exist without the other because they are intermingled.
Yep.
And of course, there is one love story that is fed to everybody, and that is the cis heteronormative love story that a man meets a woman, and then in India, of course, there is a very specific angle to this also, that a man of so and so caste, of so and so class, meets a woman of the same caste and class, and then they live in an urban savanna setting, they fall in love, and they have an arranged marriage baby, something like that. So that is the kind of love story that has been fed to us over the generations. But that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's one very tiny smidge
Mm-hmm.
of it. So there are people from the community, LGBTQIA plus community, and that kind of a love is something that requires government sanctions even now, and I find that so sad that you need permission from the government to legally be with the person that you want to be with.
Right.
And there's of course love over the caste and the class politics also. Like, we debate about this on our news channels a lot, and I really don't know if we have the PR backing to expand on this that much, if in case there is backlash.
Yeah.
And love has always been something that requires a level of economic capability too, because if you go out for, let's say, lunch, and you end up spending 500 to 1000 bucks
Yeah.
in Indian rupees, that's basically good. It's a good amount.
Yeah.
And if you don't make that amount, then how do you make up for the date?
Right.
So, as a person, again, you see capitalism entering dating. Like, even if you see media and the way love has been portrayed over the years, I'm going to talk about movies right now, because initially in the 2000, early 2000s, love was something that was sought after.
Right.
Like, it was something like you need to go out there and find yourself a love story.
Right.
And now, if you see, people are making movies about getting yourself that career, getting yourself that promotion, getting out of the cycle of a dead end job.
Right.
They're making movies about this. The focus is moving away from love to basically stories about career struggle and how do you deal with the economic aspect of your being
Hmm.
without
Right.
without any other person being involved into the picture.
Right.
So I feel like media is throwing a very individualistic ideal onto us, that you first look after yourself, you
Yeah.
first build your own standing, and then we'll bother about love. And
Hmm.
it comes from the fact that people right now can't afford to date.
Definitely.
Careers are being pushed by years. Like, I remember that my grandfather, he got a job after clearing his 10th grade.
Can you think of it? Can
And
can we
now
think of it
we
right
can't think of it. We need a master's. You either get a very mainstream STEM bachelor's, or you go ahead and you slog for a master's, which is
now? Which
again a
again,
mainstream MBA.
exactly. Think of
Hmm.
5 crore people who are
Hmm.
in the same age range as us.
Yeah. India
The
too has a lot of
kind
Gen
of
Zs.
the kind of employment opportunities available, the whole
Hmm.
labor supply
Hmm.
and demand is cursed right now.
Yeah.
It's literally at a very bad economic stage, and
That is why it is about loving yourself.
everyone wants to do certain courses and certain degrees, like, of course, but is there any option?
Hmm. Like, how do you build a standing? How do you build your
Exactly.
career and a romantic life alongside each other? So
Exactly.
that is something that you have to figure out in this generation. And in the previous generation, there was a crackdown
Yeah.
on love. Like, you could only love people from a particular surrounding. But now at least that crackdown is
Yeah.
going away. But with that liberation also comes the entire, I'll have to build my personality. And a lot of people are not willing to take that extra mile.
Male loneliness epidemic.
Many, I didn't blame anybody, but yeah, even with people are simply not willing to take that extra mile
Definitely.
to build that dating skill gap, because it is not something that is profitable in the market. market as in the economic market. So I'm like, okay, me knowing about books and movies, how is that helping me make money? So
Yeah.
I will not do anything about it. Me learning how to play the guitar, yeah, it's getting me brownie points in the dating scene, but I can't play the guitar out of a corporate meeting, right?
But you can.
So, of course you can, but of course you can, but again, like masses don't think like that.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that dominates the entire dating scene. So the freedom to date, the ability to date comes from the freedom and the ability and the capability to make money, to survive and stay afloat in this capitalistic, late
Hmm.
capitalism market.
That's why I feel like artists, real artists, people who feel like their art is what they want to do,
Hmm.
or they have a very different viewpoint of the world, and often you will see them following their passions and doing their thing. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't, but they don't listen to all of these things. And
Hmm.
I think that's important in some manner, and it's even better if you can now at this point you have if you have the privilege at this point, you should diversify and use those talents to earn money.
Hmm.
In that whole journey, what happens, I have also realized that personally, that in that journey you sometimes lose your art and instead focus on what is getting you money. So
Hmm.
I found myself writing songs or making songs I will get bored of in like 5 years or 4 years, but when I'm not in that situation where I have to make money from my music, I am making something that lasts.
Hmm.
That's the difference between you want to make something go viral and you want something to stay in people's heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually. And that brings me to my next question, and let me read it verbatim.
Hmm.
Which romantic lyric feels beautiful to you in the moment,
Hmm.
but the more you ponder over it, it starts to seem like
Okay,
problematic?
okay. So this first song that comes to my mind hearing this is "You Don't Know, oh oh, you don't know you're beautiful, oh oh, that's
That's
what
what
makes
makes
you
you
beautiful."
beautiful.
What do you mean? Like, what does the writer exactly mean
कवि
here?
क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
I mean, you're insecure, don't know what for. A girl should understand and should not glorify insecurity. Should
Mhm.
they should not glorify being shy and not knowing what they're good at and not knowing they're beautiful. They deserve to know that they're beautiful, and
Wow.
they should
Yeah.
know, because beauty is
And they
inside a
should know it
person.
themselves. They shouldn't have a man singing it to her. Ki bhai,
Exactly.
you are pretty. I'm telling you,
Oh
you are
my god,
pretty.
I don't need your validation, bro. I know I'm pretty.
Huh. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
that is one.
it is very problematic, and there are a lot of songs like this. Go to any proper pop love song that is talking about love, is even in the song like "Love Me Like You Do," Ellie Goulding from 50 Shades, of course. I let you set the pace, cause I'm not thinking straight. My head's spinning around, I can't see clear no more.
Buy glasses now.
What do you mean? Like, love me like you do. You can have your ways of getting love too,
Hmm.
and it should not be based. I
No, that's just lack of boundaries. I'm like, I
exactly.
don't know what I'm doing, so you tell me what I should do.
It's
And
sad.
that's just showing that that's a codependent relationship right there.
That is a good independent relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of nuances to it. Don't watch the movie.
And the movie, though, first of all, that's a different bag of marbles.
I know. A lot of pop songs glorify.
Even that one. तू हाँ कर या ना कर तू है मेरी किरण. The only
What's
Kiran that is Tumari is Suraj ki Kiran. Okay, no woman named anything is yours. If
Definitely.
she's saying no, she's definitely not yours. As simple as that,
As
period, full stop.
so, our girls need to think about
Mm.
better songs, not listen to these, and listen to Until I Found You by Stephen Sankey instead.
Yeah.
Or listen to Silver Springs by Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. I cannot get over that
You have
song.
just made
This
this
is
a
top song.
Stevie Nicks promotion podcast at this point of
I
time.
time cast a spell on you so you don't forget me.
Absolutely.
I'll follow you till the sound of my voice will haunt you. That's the lyrics.
And you do like
Beauty.
haunting, so
Yeah,
works just right. Fits
definitely.
the shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it should be instead of someone telling you this should be love.
True. I mean, you have to take your agency. You have to be like, I am this person. These are the things that I want in my partner. These are the things I don't want in my partner. And you look for the want part and you absolutely discard whatever trash comes your way in the cons and not want part.
That's why I love Megan Trainor
Mm.
saying not to the
No,
no, no,
no,
no.
no. Absolutely.
Thank you in advance. I don't want to dance. I don't need your hands all over me. So, Ishita, we have talked a lot about books and music. I also
And
want to,
movies.
yeah, and movies because wherever books and music comes, movies just come automatically.
Hmm.
So, do women writers allow females to express themselves and love themselves freely?
Okay, I have mixed opinions on this. And I'll give you examples where they have, and I'll also give you examples where they have not.
Mhm.
So, when it comes to books, so there's this book by one of my favorite authors, Manju Kapoor, and she talks, and the name of the short story rather is Chocolate. I had that in my course also. And in that, we see a woman very cleverly taking revenge for not being loved the way that she wants to be loved.
Sounds
And
like me.
and
Yeah,
she's unapologetic in that way. She's scheming, and she is like, this is how it should be.
definitely.
So I feel like over here, female desires are portrayed well, but the ending is ambiguous. The
Hmm.
fact that the ending was ambiguous made me think that when you are showing these desires, are you showing them as transgressive? That you may or may not have it, but if you have it, thread with care. And like if you even read the works of Alankrita Srivastav, she's a screenwriter and director. So if you read her works like Lipstick Under the Burqa or Bombay
Right.
Begum, when I see her works, I often wonder like, why is femininity always portrayed, femininity like as in feminine desires always portrayed as over sexualized, over ambitious, over the power dynamic, everything is just too overdone.
Right.
And in reality, female desire does not work like that.
Yeah.
When we say we don't like men, we don't say we don't like all men, we just say we don't like men who don't understand us as
Yeah.
people, who don't see us like people,
Right.
right? And when we talk about power, we don't mean that we need to rule the world. I mean, we have a song which is a female anthem, but we don't mean that we want to like do that, get on top of everything. We just want that we live a comfortable life for ourselves, which is run by us, led by us,
Yep.
with people who appreciate, respect, and honor that,
So,
right?
in general, there needs to be more media written or shown that shows more unapologetic women in
Yeah.
general because,
And that's where like my other example comes in, and that is Piku.
yeah,
Like the movie Piku, I don't know why it didn't do well in the box office, but that movie, and even for that matter, a very old reference, I would say, English Winglish, the character of Shashi.
yeah,
She's just a woman who wants to improve some little thing about her so that she can feel whole again.
definitely.
And of course, her wholeness comes from her family because she is that family oriented woman. but that is her negotiated space of feminism.
Definitely. And even
Yeah,
Queen for that matter.
Queen
I
for that
loved
matter.
the
I
movie.
know, I know.
It was the first time a movie that as far as I remember, it was one of the first times I saw a movie with a female lead
Hmm.
doing so well in the box office.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was
Yeah,
before we had like a back-to-back 100 crores in the box office through one of our female actors, which was surrounded on feminine themes.
right, right.
Yeah, that was way before that, and it was unprecedented.
And I really loved fashion also because, of course,
Yeah.
struggles of a model and the kind of support she got from her family
Hmm.
and the whole dissection between two people, the
Hmm.
whole contrast of what happens to someone and how to navigate in the industry as a female person who's getting fame and money and getting whatever she wants has been shown
Hmm.
very beautifully.
Yeah, that's true. Then that's a very good example. But I don't know why, but these movies often end up having a very ambiguous ending to that, that you decide whether you want it to be a good one or you want it to be a bad one.
Hmm.
Similarly with books, like usually they end on a cliffhanger.
Interesting.
And I at that time just start feeling that, do you want me to think that it's right or do you want me to think it's wrong? Because as an author, you gave me an open ending.
Yeah,
So I don't know, these transgressions are often not justified through the ending of these books and movies because
like
I
for a
don't see a
man,
resolution basically. So
definitely.
again, it caters both to the female gaze and to the box office
Yeah.
because the box office is run by the male gaze.
And
Yeah.
even like in books, for a man
Hmm.
to love unconditionally and want things, he ends up having an accident in Gatsby. That's also the
Hmm.
kind of way they're portraying males to just be strong and not fall off, and the whole narrative around what is masculinity and what is being mad about a person and what even he's doing so well with his career. He has built an empire for himself,
Yeah, true.
and the only way he fell off was because of a woman. And
Also, by the way, the career of the author that we're talking about over here, let's not name because I don't know, again, defamation and all,
yeah,
but it was built because of his wife,
yeah.
because he plagiarized her work and published it as his own, the author. Didn't take the name, please don't come behind me with a pitchfork.
So yeah, a lot of controversies. I would say that
Yeah,
these just narratives that float around in
yeah,
media. They're very questionable,
absolutely.
and that's why love becomes questionable for us.
Because we no longer know what it means. There are just so many definitions to it, and that's why at times I feel like maybe if with the kind of knowledge that we have now, we start living in small pocket communities, would it be better? Because
Hmm.
right now the globe is your audience, the globe is your source of information, and there is just multipolarity everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. But
And
aren't we already living in pocket communities? Like, when we talk about community, it's about living with people who think the same way, who like certain things and have a certain kind of lifestyle
so
that
that's
they want to
basically
bring
you
in.
choosing out of like the 100 people you meet.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the way of living that I personally support as well, because what's better than living with the people that you choose? Can be a group, it can be just one person, it can be
A dog.
yeah, dog. Yeah, we're
No.
talking about
No, I have my dog's names decided. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna name them, and
Mhm.
that's it. I've decided that since I was in fourth grade, and that's it.
Oh,
That's how it is gonna
amazing.
be.
I have Jeremiah, that's my guitar, so I live with it.
With that very funny note, Bhavya,
Yeah,
what kind of love do most popular love songs actually center around, and who gets left out? And this is very similar to like when you asked me who can love.
yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, a lot of songs, most of the songs, glorify love. That is not describing a relationship between a person, but instead glorifying um, certain qualities about a person that you like. Whether we are thinking of songs in Bollywood, be like,
I like the Darde Disco wala. वो
yeah,
हसीना
or
वो
Neelam
नीलम
Pari.
परी. What are you liking about her? The fact that she's a blue fairy?
Yeah,
What does नीलम परी mean?
most of the songs that we listen to, वो
But isn't
चांद सा
that like
रोशन चेहरा,
ah
जुल्फों का रंग
Chan?
सुनहरा,
Hmm.
कैसे देखूं तेरी आंखें, आंखों पे चश्मे का पहरा. That version, both the versions of the songs are very much about the physicalities of a woman or what she does instead of describing the bonds of the relationship. There are
Hmm.
songs that describe that also, but quite a few
Few.
ones.
Like even like if we go to a rather lilt music way, like Chehra Jaise Ajanta. Again, you're describing the face. It's a
Yeah,
softer song with better words, but you're still
yeah,
describing the face and
exactly.
the
It's just better writing using personification and similes.
yeah. Are you saying that women are objectified in love songs?
A lot of times, a lot of
I mean,
times.
not in a bad way, but instead of talking about them in terms of their traits and characteristics.
Objectification has become so normal and desensitized right now that
Hmm.
y- people who are writing the lyrics sometimes don't even know that they're writing this and
Hmm.
objectifying this.
True.
It's something to think about deeply, and there will be a list of songs that will come out to be very problematic.
Hmm.
Yeah. But songs like तुझे संग वैर लगाया ऐसा do exist. Like I love Lalish for that matter because it's understanding the depth of love. कि what happened between the two people, and
Yeah.
even like तुम ही हो for that matter, why that song touched so many hearts is
मेरी
because
आशिकी
तेरा मेरा रिश्ता है कैसा तुझ पर एक पल दूर गवारा नहीं.
No, I
You
can't
know,
stay without you.
yeah.
Hmm.
तेरे लिए हम रोज हैं. And it's not talking about we are doing that just because of certain qualities. It's just the bond between two people.
Hmm.
And we need to focus on bonds and connections and the
Internal beauty.
internal beauty more
Yeah.
than what's outside. And that needs to come out more and more in songwriting. I think that's
Yeah,
why
now
indie
that you
writers.
say this, it's sounding a little shallow and surface level to me. Like I'm like a lot of songs are coming into my head, and I'm
Yeah,
like, ऐसे ही तो है. That's just how we've normalized love. But you were talking about indie
indie
artists,
artists,
yeah.
of course. Like, why do you think the younger generation likes lyrics written by Anuv Jan? Because it is talking about depth. Like, he's
Hmm.
a very good songwriter. The rest, let it be a controversy. You can have your opinions, I can have mine, and I will not talk about it. But his songwriting, his Pratik Kuhad, and a lot of
हाँ.
these artists, they're writing so beautifully, and I just love that. The reason why Barishein got famous was because the songwriting touched souls.
Yeah, I remember तेरी आँखों का काजल. That lyric. Oh my God.
It
I
still
mean,
gives me
that's so
goosebumps, right?
deep.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
People nowadays are doing a good job with expanding their writings. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like that now people are like publicly dissing artists for writing songs that actually end up doing what we just discussed. So now people are also bringing that social awareness to their songwriting. Again, it does exist in certain industries, but in the mainstream industry, except for maybe item numbers, the songs are pretty good, where women are treated as women, not objects of desire or objects of I am a man and this is how I rationalize love for me by describing what I like about her outward beauty.
Right.
Hmm.
And it makes me think of a lot of movies in that way are also problematic movies about love, you know.
Hmm.
Always see a pattern that problematic movies
वो
may
तो
have
है.
problematic lyrics as well.
I
So yeah,
mean, it
it
should
goes hand
fit.
in hand.
Yeah, it should
Exactly.
fit the
It's
bill.
made that way.
Yeah. So with that very again open-ended question to all of you all, how is love represented आजकल? Like, what is love आजकल? Is it favoring a particular identity over another?
Hmm.
Is there a dynamic at play over here that requires a level of social, economic, and mental standard? And are you actually meeting them, or are you struggling to meet them, or not bothered about it? So, again, with all these open ended conversations, we now come to a halt in the process for now.
Yes, you have to decide yourself. Is love about passion for you, or is love about calmness for you? It's about inner things, or it's about whatever you want it to be about.
Yeah, we live in a free world.
Yeah, so are you celebrating Valentine's?
With you. All right, bye bye. Thank you so much for your time. And this is our first time doing something like this. So we would like all the support that we can get. So please do like, share, subscribe, and give us your feedback in bulk. And we'll try and incorporate that in our upcoming episodes and become more consistent with our content and get better content to you.
Yes, and
Stay tuned.
stay tuned, guys. This is Bhavya, this is Ishita, song and book.